Wowee, you guys really liked the first video, so here we are, back with Half-Life, the most fun, enjoyable, and not super confusing and infuriating game there is. Now that I played it once, I am now really good and shouldn't get stuck or die at all. I swam up to the top of the water that I just jumped into. I crawled up into a small bit of land that was before me. There were some people down here, but I suspected they drank all the special juice before I got there and left none for me. So I swam down and found an opening at the top where it led me into a room filled to the brim with that same special juice, and it must have been really good because I was just drawn to it. I don't suck. I got through the room and went into some pipes, but the pipes must have been super unstable or something because it just collapsed under me and I fell into a strange room. The room led me through into a larger room with some of my good friends who appeared to be fighting a big boy. So I let them handle it as they definitely had it under control. While they were taking care of the big boy, I was making my way through to turn on the rail system. But the military were everywhere, and I couldn't go a few steps without seeing their beautiful faces. But I showed them who was really in charge.
Give me your ammo, buddy. Oh!
I found a map of the rooms that I had to get to, but I didn't read it because I'm cool and who needs maps anyway. I followed the tunnels into more of the military people, and they were all lining up to get a signed bullet as if I was famous. They had an elevator set up that would take me down into the power generator where I could turn it on and get the rail system up and running. But they must have found out that I was doing that because when I was returning, they had sent more guys. So I got out my new weapon, and they didn't even see it coming. I felt ever so devious. I made my way back to the power switch for the track and turned it on. After doing so, I ran back to the tracks and he followed me through, and I led him right into the electricity where he would get electrocuted and die. However, I was not expecting him to look like I was editing my images on a PowerPoint before violently exploding. The train system was finally up and running, so I hopped in and followed the tracks to some policemen, where he told me what to do from here.
Freeman, I've been waiting for you. One of your scientist pals said to give you a message. You're supposed to take this old rail system up to some kind of satellite delivery rocket. I don't know where it is exactly, and the old guy was so worried about needing the satellite in orbit if they were ever going to clean up this mess.
But in classic hero fashion, I accepted the mission and continued my journey through the rail system. Sadly, there were no enemies to run over. In fact, I think the only thing I ran over was myself. Soon, the train took me through into a room with a big satellite rocket that the guy was talking about. I continued down the tracks to this elevator thing where the military were ready for me. I took them out with ease and ran deeper into the train station. At some point, I must have forgotten about my train because I sort of just left it behind and went on foot. This ladder took me into more rails and tracks. Oh, I'm so dumb. Which took me along until a missile was shot directly at my head. I managed to avoid it somehow and jumped away from the explosives that had been planted, and I was on my way. You're not gonna believe this, but the tracks actually led me to more tracks. What? That's crazy. What? I thought. I found myself passing by some sort of factory area, so I ducked under some boxes, and then found myself ducking under missiles. I wanted to take a cheeky look as to who was firing them at me, but I got one free serving of an explosive. I managed to kill the guy and made my way to the most annoying level in this whole video. I climbed down the ladder into a room that I will be seeing for the next 10 minutes, killed some buzzers, and went down the tunnel where I got my ass blasted by a turret. I managed to get past them and ran outside and got my first bit of fresh air in a long time. I opened the blast doors to the launch site where the military had locked it down, and I was not ready for the fire that was going to rain on me, and it did not help that I only had a sliver of health. Anyway, I took them down and made my way into the launch room where I had to deal with some traps plus some silly goobers. I walked into the launch room and pressed the big red button. Call me Elon Musk, cause I sent that tin can into space like it was nothing.
Dude. Oh! Oh, my eyes!
Sadly, I had forgotten about one crucial detail before leaving the room.
No!
I went back through the blast doors and went down a ladder and was met with a Luckily, this one was faster and cooler because it broke and I killed a couple guys. I got sent flying too and fell into a giant room flooded with water. I managed to find an exit through the water and found another room filled with water. Except this water had something below the surface, and let me tell you, it was scary. The door was shut and the valve was hard to open, but I managed to just slip under the door before the beast got me. The floors were slippery and unstable, and I fell into the water. It was very deep and very scary, knowing that the beast can swim faster than I can. I jumped through a hole in the fence blocking the door and made my way to the pancake maker room where they prepare their pancakes. Or maybe it's pizza. I don't know. The flattening room took me into that freezer where they keep all the necessary ingredients to make their pizzas. It was very cold in there, but it was the only way to the next part of the facility. There was a scientist there waiting for me, and he told me all the information that I needed to escape. I went up the elevator and got greeted by one of the police officers.
No!
For you. Make sure you don't...
What? What? Make sure I don't what?
I went into a fit of rage to avenge my fallen officer.
Who killed this man? Who did it? Who was it? Yo! Whoa! Lad! They're ladies!
But these people were different. They were faster, slimmer, and way more scary. So I set up traps, rigged explosives in order to take them down. I defeated them and successfully survived their ambush, but I was weak, and I was in desperate need of a healing station. I stumbled down the halls and found one in a secluded back room. Something felt off about it, but I was too weak to realize the obvious bait they had set up. I fell for it hook, line, and sinker.
No.
I see it.
Where are we taking this Freeman guy? Topside for questioning. What the hell for? We got him. Let's kill him now. And if they find the body? Body? What body?